Mrs. Doubtfire from 1993, directed by Chris Columbus, starring obviously Robin Williams, Sally Fields, Pierce Brosnan. Quick IMDb logline: after a bitter divorce, an actor disguises himself as a female housekeeper to spend time with his children held in custody by his former wife. So I put this movie as my number one because to me, this movie summarizes in my head all the aspects of San Francisco: the joy, the freedom, the loneliness, the mystery, all of it. And going back to even my childhood, I don't even know what San Francisco was, honestly, because I didn't grow up here. But there's something about their house and the streets and how steep they were suddenly, all of it always, I don't know, it just sort of drew me in always. And I always was like, oh, one day wouldn't it be cool to kind of be in this place? And lo and behold, this is where I ended up. So this movie has like a special place in my heart. Obviously, at the center of it all is Robin Williams, a gigantic performance by him, a truly committed performance by him, which is just so brilliant in every aspect. Like you can pull out sections of this movie, and I feel like I probably know most of the movie by heart because I've seen it so many times, but you can pull out sections from the birthday party with the horse to probably one of the most incredible scenes to me shot in movie history, where he's double dating at the dinner place, at the restaurant. To that, to, him getting ready, or him answering all the calls as different people when Sally Field is looking for a nanny. All these segments are in themselves just so brilliant that they could be movies of their own. That's sort of the brilliance of this person. It still breaks my heart watching this movie that he's no longer with us. But it's if the fact that we have this Death Boys Society and Good Will Hunting as a gift from him, whenever I miss him and think of him, that's where I go to. So anyway, that's enough on Robin Williams. But overall, I mean, I think this movie it's such a jewel box, and you can meet it as you want it. This can be a fun romp where the gag is, oh, dude dressed as a lady. That's a song in the movie too, by the way. And you can just be done with that, or you can peel the layers and see the details of the heartbreak and the details of divorce and the impact that has on children and how thoughtfully and beautifully that's handled. The beauty and joy you see between Robin Williams and his gay brother and his partner, so devoted to create this whole thing for him. And once again, only in San Francisco will this happen, right? Like you have these two gay guys in a relationship, and they probably do like makeup and such on drag queens on the side. Like maybe that's what their job is. And it's not, underlined over the head. It's just is. Which is, I always sort of that, I don't even know what being gay was at that age when I watched this movie, but something immediately brought a smile on my face when I saw those two and the three of them doing, Make Me a Match, the song. Just so adorable. So I don't know. There's not much more to add, but it's just a joyous, deep, fun, funny, and a touching movie, a jewel box. And only Chris Columbus can do that. I think there are not many people who can direct a movie like this. Is it a perfect movie? Are there flaws? Of course there are. Like, that's not the point of this movie.
I would say it's perfect, but keep going.
Okay, good.
I would make that argument that it's a perfect movie.
I was bringing up some defense because I was like, if you hate this movie, I will be very upset. So I was putting my defense guard up to begin with. But I agree. It is perfect.
Say it's perfect movie.
The children, Sally Field, Pierce Brosnan, everybody. And we've been talking about change in the dichotomy. Even in this movie, that's captured too. He's the artist. He's the free soul. Sally Field is, corporate, has her life together. And the movie does a great job of not villainizing or vilifying anybody. You see both sides And that's why this movie is sort of perfect to me, because I think all of the movies we've touched on, they do take one side or the other.
Yep.
This movie kind of meets in the middle. And what you said about Last Black Man in San Francisco underlines that homes could be broken, houses could be big or small, but really home is where your community is at, where your heart is at. And even though these two people don't end up together, there's so much heart there that they're going to be fine, and they have a home, even though they live in different houses.
Right.
Which is sort of what the movie ends on. So I cry every time in that last final scenes, even though I know it's coming.
Yeah.
So that's Mrs. Doubtfire, my number one.
Yeah, I mean, I sorry I jumped in on there. I just had to.
Good.
I wanted you to just admit this is a perfect movie. I think this is a perfect film. I have loved this film ever since I was a kid when I first saw it. I've seen it dozens of times. Rewatching it because I hadn't seen it in a couple of years, like straight through. It's so. I mean, echoing what you said about Ron Williams, I think not only is this an incredible performance and maybe his best on film, but it's a performance that nobody else could have played this role. I mean, Ron Williams' his whole comedic career and persona was different voices, different characters. And he does that in this movie to serve the story. It's not like, oh, we're going to cast, what project can we create around this comedian's persona, which is typically what happens when you have a movie that is a vehicle for a stand-up comedy star. I mean, Ron Williams is more when this movie was made, he'd already made films and done TV, but they captured what makes Robin Williams perfectly, and it feels so natural. No one else could have played this role. Like you said, the different characters that he does, the conceit of the whole film, he's playing to characters, and that is his whole getup is different characters. I mean, maybe the only other role he's ever done that matches him this well would be Aladdin, the genie in Aladdin. Probably it. Those are the most Ron Williams' performances we'll ever get.
But I think this takes over because it has that, but it also has the depth of Dead Poets Society and some of the more serious movies. So you get the full spectrum of him. Yeah.
No, I mean, I think one of the best scenes in the film is at the end in the court.
Yeah.
He's making that speech about wanting his kids. And it's just incredible. Because it really, I mean, I'm not a parent. So I'm speaking as somebody who's not a parent, but I think that scene at the end just captures what it's like to love your children in a way that I don't think any movie has really, at least impacted, as somebody who's not a parent, has felt like, wow, that must be what that's like when he says, you know, I will do anything for my kids. Nothing will stand in the way. I acted like a total fool and did something that was illegal and lied to everyone, but I did it because I just love my kids so much, and you can never take them away from me. And that's so powerful. And he delivers that in such just an incredible, it's just a highlight of the film. And then to not stick on the serious pieces too, you know, again, as someone who parents, you know, I'm not a child of divorce. But this movie, even when I was a child, I was like, wow, this is treating divorce in such a serious way, but realistic way. Like neither side is a villain. You're sympathetic to both like both of these people. You get why they fell in love. You get why it worked. You get why it doesn't work and why it's just not going to work. And it's a movie where the plot of it is not like The Parent Trap, where the kids are trying to get the parents back together, or he's not making up Mrs. Doubtfire to win his wife back.
No,
you know, it's not about that. And I think that is,
it's about love for the kids.
And I think that is what makes this movie one of the best movies about divorce. I think even more so than some movies where that's what the movie's about. I think just the way that it treats that and the motivation of the characters is just so great. But yeah, the movie, I don't want to talk too much just about the serious things about the film. It's so funny. And getting back to the San Francisco piece of it too. I mean, I saw this movie as a kid before I ever went to San Francisco. It looked like a magical place. It does capture some of the magic of the city with the architecture, with that house especially is iconic. It's a house that, you know, you wouldn't really see anywhere else in terms of the style and the hill and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, the message of the film, like you touched on, is they are a family at the end, even though it's non-traditional. They're not married, but they're still making it work. And the way they treated his brother, Harvey Fierstein, and his boyfriend, it's just, like these people in a relationship, we're not going to hang a lantern on it. We're not going to make it a comedic bit. It's not like funny that these guys are in a couple. It's like, no, they're just in a couple, and that's just what it is. And they can still do funny things. But it's not because they're gay. It's not because they're in a couple. And I think that again goes back to San Francisco, where, you know, I do think of it as a place where you can be yourself, and all forms of love and families are accepted there. And that's just something that I feel. And I think this movie just brilliantly captures that across the board. And I mean, I would have put this on my list if you already didn't. I just going to say, because this is like the first movie that comes to mind.
Same.
Movies in San Francisco. It's like, oh, this is Doubtfire. Like, of course. And just so it's so funny. I cannot, a perfect film. I can't speak more highly.
Insanely rewatchable.
Oh my God. Yeah. So good.
I don't know. I think I watch it every year, probably, if not more than once a year. It's its entirety.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I've seen bits and pieces of it over the years. Like I hadn't sat down and watched the whole thing in a row in a couple years. And I was just like, wow, this still is just like, what a classic. Hey there, it's Alex. If you like the review and discussion Karan and I just had, make sure you subscribe to our channel, Movies That Shaped Us, to get full episodes. Every other Wednesday, Karan and I cover a topic around important people, places, events, and moments in our lives, and then explore it through 3 of our favorite movies. Subscribe right now, or follow our podcast on Spotify or Apple Podcasts via the link in the description below. Hope you join us for the journey.